These are the two things why BC400 is being feeded. Number one, the bubble map, and number two, the blacklist feature. Now, let's take from number one, bubble map, right? Bubble map there is all about control. And majority of the bubble map top you're seeing there is because of that 4.4 billion, the wallet that is holding it. But believe you me, that 4.4 billion is going to be burned. It's just a matter of time. That is one. This is not to sweet talk you into investing into BC400, but to open your mind to a broader something. That is to highlight some things that maybe you should be scared of before, but now you have understanding, a better understanding. You should actually give it a try. Okay. Aside BC400, is there any project that have used blacklist feature before? There is. They are number one, Brett. Number two, Pepe. Now, in my own words, if you ask me if these two projects were a success, I will say yes. As you all can remember, in the SMC's researchers article about BC400, they highlighted all of these things as risk. But they also reiterated that it all depends on who is peddling the project. That is, yes, there is blacklisting feature, right? There is bubble map, right? It all depends on the person peddling the project. Now, what are they trying to say? Let's take our minds back to when BNB was launched. Upon the launch of BNB, remember 50% of the supply was what was being held by the developer. Now, because of the developer is a man of his word, a man of integrity, and people take him for that. What happened? People helped BNB regardless. And because of that integrity, that is why that article says it depends on who is peddling it. Today, BNB is what? BNB is a success. Now, let's address the bubble map side of things. Now, in the bubble map side of things, there is a wallet holding 4.4 billion. And I think that is where all of those stuffs are coming from. But it will interest you to know that that 4.4 billion wallet will be burnt. And I think that is what will bring us to a 99% burn. Remember, 96% has been burnt previously. Furthermore, now I want you to understand, whenever you are early into a project, right, you are mitigating a whole lot of risk. In fact, your risk appetite is very high when you're early to any project. I'm going to drop a video, but before then, let me explain what the video is all about. There is my friend and good brother. His name is Bond. He's a real estate guy in Lagos. Now, he made an explanation of how lands can actually be bought from the Lagos state government. Now, he said, as a real estate company, the government can actually give you land, give you papers. Now, when they give you, as a real estate company, you go fence the place and start parcellating it. Now that you're parcellating it, there is a money running into billions of naira that you're going to pay to the Lagos state government. Now, if you do not pay that money within a certain period of time that was stipulated, that land will be revoked from you. Now, as a developer who doesn't have funds, what are you going to do? You come to that land after parcellating it. You make inquiries what lands in that area cost. Now, when you have done that, you now come and bring yours down because of what? You need money. You need to sell lower than the prices of people in that neighborhood in order to attract sales. Now that you have brought it down, maybe lands in that neighborhood is 40 million, but you brought your own down to maybe 25 million. Now, many people will rush it because that is a good deal. Remember, that land will never have any papers at the time people are purchasing it, making their money a very big risk, right? Now, imagine something that is 40 million and you're getting it for 25 million. But it is all dependent whether, number one, the real estate developer is real, and number two, if we will meet that target, pay the Lagos state government and get all the necessary papers that determines that you now own that land legally and permanently. So now that this land is going for 25 million, remember that your 25 million is a very big risk. The developer can actually elude with the money, or he won't be able to make enough sales to pay that stipulated amount. At the end of the day, you lose your money. That is what BC400 is like now. Now that Duru have finished, the papers and everything, they have paid the Lagos state government, they have gotten the C of O and all the title documents. He said the land is no longer going for 25 million. The land have actually jumped to, I think, around 50 million. Now look at it. This was something you got for 25 million at a very high risk. But currently now, it is worth what? It is worth 50 million. That is what it takes to be early into any project. You have to understand, you have to agree that that risk factor must be there. But it all depends on who is behind that project. Now, let's watch Duru's own side of the story.
When a real estate company says the title of their land is government allocation, here's what it simply means. Listen carefully so you don't get into trouble. You can buy land directly from the Lagos state government, but it's not 1 plot, 2 plots. You have to buy in bulk, minimum 5,000 square meters. Now, when you approach Lagos state government to buy land, if or when you meet a certain criteria, they will allocate a certain portion of land to you. But that land does not immediately become your own because there are some fees you're supposed to pay. Very expensive. Now, what some real estate companies do is that once they get that allocation, they now start to sell the land to raise that money to pay Lagos state government so that they get the official title of that land. There's nothing wrong in doing this. But where problem usually comes is that some companies collect money from people and don't remit to the state, or they are not able to, get the money on time because there's a timeline for you to raise that money, after which the land will be revoked. So you have situations where companies have collected money from people, but there's no land to give them. So I'm sure you remember this land I brought your notice a couple of months ago. That is the coastal road over there. So you see those street lights, that's the coastal road. So the reason why we were selling those 100 plus at that distress price then was to raise that money to pay Lagos state government, billions of naira. By the grace of God, we were able to raise that money in a matter of weeks. So by January next year, we are expecting the official title document of this land to be out. Remember I said it then that the people who are going to key into it then, they are going to thank me. So those people, they bought a titled land on Monastery Road, close proximity to the coastal road, for 30-something million. The asking price then was 50 million, but most of them bought for 30-something million. So currently, we have another 20 plots we want to sell at 50 million naira per plot. Last price, non-negotiable, 50 million naira. And I'm telling you that 50 million naira today will be a very good deal for you by January next year. By January next year, this land will not sell for less than 70 million naira. And I'm not just bringing out numbers from my ass. Why will it get to 70 million? By January, February latest, the title of this land will be out. And there is a big project coming up here. So we're not just selling bush. There is a major construction project that's going to start here. I'm not going to announce it now. But by January, when I will announce it, this land will not sell for less than 70 million. So you have a last chance to get this very good deal. Now, there's nobody that collected the documents of this land from me that came back negative. And I challenge anybody. If you took the documents of this land from me and your lawyer or surveyor told you this and that, please feel free to write it in the comments. Or better still, you can make a video. That's how confident I am with what I'm selling. The documentation of this land is very good. So if you're interested, you can send me a DM or reach out to the number shown on this.
If you actually find a way to understand this video from crypto side of things, I think you have a better understanding of what I'm talking about BC400. Anyway, like bond of real estate, like also crypto of BC400. Now, Ford is normal, right? I have actually seen bubble map themselves feuding Pepe because of what? Because of bubble maps. But the question is this: was Pepe a success? Yes. Was Brett a success? Yes. Were they feuded because of bubble map? Yes. Were they feuded because of whitelisting? Yes. But what happens? They are a success. Because of what? Because of the people who were peddling it. And it was on the integrity of the people peddling these two projects that the early investors grabbed a piece of the cake. And riding on that integrity, it became a success, and it is a win-win for everyone. So to me, if you have watched this video, go back, have a rethink, possibly take a position on BC400. But if you say no, just watch. It's just a matter of time. BC400 is going to join the list of those projects that were feuded because of bubble map and whitelist, but later became success. Thank you, and God bless.